You have just settled into the quiet dark. The lights are off, and you are lying in bed, doing precisely what every responsible person your age does. You are calculating the exact number of hours and minutes of sleep you will get if you fall asleep. Right. Now, congratulations. You have just begun your nightly advanced seminar in overthinking, a class that has been running on repeat since, perhaps, your career took hold. Or maybe it began when your family grew, or when you first looked at your retirement savings and realized it didn't quite match the articles you've been reading. Your body is heavy, your eyes wish to close, but your mind has decided. This quiet moment is the perfect opportunity for a complete audit of your life choices, starting with whether you should have bought that house in 2008 and ending with what you'll say in that meeting 3 days from now. Welcome to the human condition. Welcome to the very same challenge that monks and masters have gently observed for millennia, except they didn't have to worry about smartphone notifications or whether they'd renewed their car insurance. Lucky them. Right now, you are touching the edge of what the Buddha called dukkha, not the grand, dramatic suffering of films, but the subtle, persistent static of a mind that simply will not settle. You are about to find peace, not by fighting this mind, but by understanding it. The ancient Zen stories tell of this path. The timeless Buddhist stories offer the light. Those old teachers knew exactly what this feels like, and they left us a map. Let's begin with what is happening right now. You are lying here, horizontal, and your mind is generously offering you everything. It is reminding you of a project deadline, an email you might have forgotten to send, the cholesterol numbers from your last physical, whether you should rebalance those investments, if your adult children are truly happy, or just saying they are. And, of course, the mind's favorite topic, the fact that you are not sleeping. This, my friend, is not a monkey mind. That comparison is too simple. It is unfair to the monkeys who, at least, do not lie awake contemplating their banana portfolio. No. What you have is an untended garden. Your mind is a vast, beautiful, and fertile garden. But at night, when the day's distractions are gone, you are left alone in it, and you realize the weeds of worry have grown tall, the vines of past regrets are tangled around the pathways, and the insects of future anxiety are buzzing near your ear. Your body is tired. It wants to rest, but you feel you cannot rest until this entire wild garden is perfectly manicured. This is where the wisdom of Zen Buddhism begins. The Buddha himself, Siddhartha, was about your age, perhaps in his late 22nd or early 32nd, when he decided to figure out why humans suffer, why this garden of the mind seems to grow weeds all by itself. He had been living the good life, a truly good life, a wealthy family, a beautiful palace, perfect health, servants. He had what amounted to the best healthcare and retirement plan of 500 BC. But he looked around, in the quiet of his palace, and thought, why am I not at peace? Why is my mind never truly silent? Sound familiar? You have the home, perhaps with a mortgage you've tended for years. You have the career, with its own unique brand of sophisticated stress. You have a family, perhaps grown, who still need you in ways that have simply changed, not lessened. You have, by all measures, succeeded, and yet, here you are, wide awake, wondering why inner peace feels more elusive than a comfortable position for your shoulder. Here is the first and most liberating thing those ancient teachers discovered, a truth that is the key to tending your garden. Your thoughts are not you. They are not reality. I know. That thought about your upcoming financial review feels intensely real. So, does the memory of that sharp word you said this afternoon. But these are mental events. They are not prophecies carved in stone. They are simply weeds. They are a natural part of a fertile garden. Right now, your mind is doing what minds do best. It is creating detailed scenarios. It's producing a spectacular film festival of potential disasters. Coming this winter, what if my savings run out? Starring your anxiety and featuring a special guest appearance by every financial mistake you've ever made. You have been trying to pull these weeds by thinking about them harder. But as any gardener knows, pulling a weed the wrong way just spreads its seeds. Let's talk about the Four Noble Truths. This is the ancient, time-tested equivalent of, here is why your garden is overgrown, and here is the gentle way to tend it, without needing to buy a single new tool. The first noble truth. Life includes dukkha. This means suffering, yes, but a more accurate word is unsatisfactoriness. Or, as you are currently experiencing it, why am I wide awake thinking about whether I should have bought the extended warranty on the dishwasher? You see, the Buddha noticed that even when life is objectively good, even if you are safe in a warm bed, worried about future problems instead of immediate survival, life is pretty good. We still find ways to be dissatisfied. It's as if our minds are hardwired to scan for what is wrong, even when 99% is right. We are weed finders by nature. The second noble truth. Suffering, or the weeds, come from attachment and craving. In your case, right now, it is the attachment to the powerful idea that you should have your life completely figured out by now, that you should be healthier, that you should have saved more, and, most urgently, that you should be asleep. News flash. Nobody has it all figured out. Not even that person from your past who posts seemingly perfect travel photos online. They have their own hidden weeds, I assure you. Your mind, in this moment, is attached to the idea of sleep. It craves unconsciousness. And this very craving, this desperate wanting, is a state of tension. It's like trying to fall asleep by clenching every muscle in your body. The act of demanding sleep is precisely what keeps you awake. It's the ultimate paradox. It's like trying to not think about a pink elephant. Suddenly, your mind is a circus of them. You are lying there, attached to the belief that a perfectly managed life, a life without weeds, is the goal. But the Buddha would gently suggest that a perfect garden isn't one without weeds. It's one where the gardener knows how to tend to the weeds with wisdom and kindness. The third noble truth. There is a way out of this suffering. There is a way to tend the garden. And no, it doesn't involve a new, expensive organization system for your life. It doesn't require a different mattress or an app that costs $19.99 a month. The Buddha would have been deeply amused by the concept of subscription-based enlightenment. The way out is not through more thinking. You have been thinking for several decades. You are an expert-level thinker. And where has it led you? Right here, in this bed, thinking about how your thinking is keeping you from sleeping. It is time for a profoundly different approach. You cannot pull the weeds by analyzing them. You must simply learn to see them and then gently remove them. The third noble truth. There is a way out of this suffering. There is a way to tend the garden. Do not worry. This is not a new, complicated diet plan you tried last spring. This is not a list of 101 things you must do perfectly. It is a gentle, unfolding process. And it all begins with what is relevant to you, right now, in this bed. It begins with right mindfulness. This simply means being aware of what is actually happening, not what your mind's anxious film festival says is happening. Let's do a quick check. What is actually happening? You are lying in a bed. You are breathing. You are physically safe. There is a roof over your head. That's it. That is the factual reality of this moment. Now, what is your mind saying is happening? It's saying that tomorrow is ruined, that your health is fragile, that your finances are precarious, that you are failing at this simple human task of sleeping, and that somehow this is all connected to that decision you made in 2011. Here is a simple, yet profound secret. The Buddha taught that almost all our suffering, all those weeds, grow from living in the past, regret, or the future, anxiety. We are almost never, ever, simply living in the present. And let's be honest, at this stage in life, you have so much more past to regret and a much more complex future to worry about. It is the perfect recipe for 3 a.m. anxiety. One moment, you are regretting not taking that other job. The next, you are projecting healthcare costs for the year 2040. Meanwhile, the present moment, the only one that is real, the only one you can ever live in, is sitting here. It's like that beautiful garden bench you bought, the one you keep meaning to sit on, but you're always too busy running around pulling weeds in a panic. The practice of Buddhist meditation is not about emptying the mind. That is impossible. It is about learning to sit on that bench, even for just a moment, and watch the garden as it is. Let's explore the concept of anatta, or non-self. This might sound like a complex idea reserved for monks in mountaintop monasteries, but it is actually the most practical tool for your sleepless night. That voice in your head, the one that is currently curating your list of greatest worries and regrets, that is not the real you. It is simply a habit of the mind. It is like a talk radio station that got stuck on the life audit and disaster report channel, and the volume is turned all the way up. Think about it. You are observing these thoughts. You are aware of the anxiety. This means you cannot be the thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. Let's explore the concept of anatta, or non-self. This might sound like a complex idea reserved for monks in mountaintop monasteries, but it is actually the most practical tool for your sleepless night. You have been standing in the middle of this cold, fast-moving river all night, trying to stop the water, trying to catch every piece of debris, every anxious thought, and analyze it. It is exhausting. The practice of Zen Buddhism offers a different way. It invites you to simply step out of the water, come and sit on the warm, solid riverbank. From here, you can simply watch the river flow by. You are not the river. You are the witness. You are the quiet, spacious awareness, watching the river of your mind. And this is where this particular practice of Zen meditation becomes so liberating. Lying here in bed, you can practice. Notice that thought about tomorrow's schedule. Ah, there it is. See it like a leaf floating on the current. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to jump in and chase it. You just notice, a thought about tomorrow, and you let it drift by. Another one will be along in a moment. They are more reliable than the bus service. Here comes a memory from your childhood, another leaf. Here comes the thought, I'm still not sleeping. That is just another leaf. A particularly big, scratchy one, perhaps, but just a leaf. Let them pass. Your only task is to remain on the riverbank, aware and present. This leads us to anicca, or impermanence. This sounds like a sad word, but it is actually your greatest source of comfort right now. Everything changes. The river is never the same river twice. The water that just passed will never return. Remember when you were 25 and could survive on 5 hours of sleep and coffee? That changed. Remember when your biggest financial worry was a dinner bill? That changed, too. The good news, the profound news, is that this current state, this wide-awake, anxious, buzzing feeling, this, too, will change. It is, by its very nature, impermanent. It is just a moment in the river. It cannot last. The bad news is, you will probably have to go through this a few more times before your heart truly accepts this truth. Most of the time, your mind is fighting reality. It is standing on the riverbank, yelling at the water to flow uphill. It insists, this shouldn't be happening. The Buddhist path isn't about forcing the river to stop. It's about realizing you don't have to yell at it. You can just sit. This is the middle way. avoiding extremes. At your age, you know all about extremes. Extreme diets, extreme work schedules, extreme worry. Your current specialty. The middle way here is accepting that you are awake without panicking about being awake. It is accepting the river without being swept away by it. It's like accepting that your metabolism isn't what it used to be. You can be angry about it, or you can just accept it and live from this new reality. Fighting it only makes you miserable. So, let's practice this. Right here, right now, just rest. Rest on the riverbank. Your body is already lying down. Let it be heavy. Let your awareness just watch the flow of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to solve anything. You don't even have to sleep. You just have to be. You are the awareness. You are the stillness. You are the riverbank. And the river is just doing what rivers do. Let's speak about something specific to this season of your life. Perhaps you are a gardener, caught in the middle. You are tending to the old, venerable trees of your aging parents, and you are also tending to the new, unpredictable sprouts of your adult children. You are worried about the roots of one and the branches of the other, and in the middle, you are trying to make sure your own plot of land is watered. This is the anxiety of the sandwich generation. You are planning for a future retirement while still managing the debts of the past. You are dealing with the new aches and creaks in your own body while managing the needs of everyone else. The Buddha would point out, with infinite kindness, that you are suffering not from these responsibilities, but from the stories you are telling yourself about them. The stories sound like this: I should have saved more. I should be healthier. I should have made better choices. I should be able. I should be stronger. Should. This word, should, is the sound of a rusty, scraping metal gate in your garden. It is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of judgment. It is the sound of a mind that believes life is a test, and you are somehow failing. Here is a Buddhist insight that is particularly relevant: the concept of right effort. This doesn't mean trying harder. You have been trying hard your entire life. You are an expert at effort. This means trying differently. Right effort in this moment means not trying to force sleep. It means not battling your thoughts, which is like trying to fight the wind. It means not trying to solve your children's lives, your parents' health, and your retirement fund at 3 o'clock in the morning. Right effort, right now, means lying here with a kind of radical acceptance. I am awake. Millions of people my age are also awake right now, probably thinking very similar thoughts. This is part of the human experience. It is a profound relief to stop trying. Do you know what is fascinating? The Buddha achieved enlightenment by, quite literally, sitting still and doing nothing. After years of trying everything, extreme fasting, intense breath holding, studying with every great teacher, he had tried harder than anyone. He was the ultimate overachiever of spirituality, and it all failed. Finally, he just sat down under a tree and stopped. He stopped trying so hard. He let go. He accepted. And in that surrender, the understanding came. There is a deep lesson there. For those of us who have spent decades believing that the answer to every problem is to work harder, think more, plan better, sometimes the answer is to do less, not more. Your thoughts are like the buzzing of insects in your garden at dusk. They are persistent, they seem urgent, but they are not actually important right now. You do not have to chase every single one. You can just let them buzz. This brings us to compassion. Starting with self-compassion. You are lying here, and you are being incredibly hard on yourself. For what, exactly? For being human? For having concerns? For caring so deeply about your family's well-being that it interrupts your sleep? These are not character flaws. These are signs that you are a responsible, loving adult. You are simply a gardener who cares. The problem is not your care. The problem is your harshness toward yourself. The Buddha taught that suffering is universal. That person you imagine has it all figured out. They are probably awake at 2 a.m., too, wondering if they chose the right insurance plan. Here is something practical. The 5 hindrances. These are the 5 main pests in the garden of the mind that, in your case, block sleep. 1. Desire. Wanting things to be different. Specifically, wanting to be asleep. 2. Aversion. Not wanting what is happening, hating that you are awake. 3. Sloth and torpor. That heavy, dull fogginess that isn't sleep. The mind feels like heavy, wet clay. 4. Restlessness. Your current specialty. The buzzing anxiety. The mind that cannot land. 5. Doubt. Wondering if anything will ever help. Wondering if you are broken. Do you recognize any of these? Of course you do. You are likely experiencing at least 3 right now. The Buddhist approach is not to fight these hindrances. You cannot spray them with the poison of self-criticism. That only damages the garden. The approach is simply to acknowledge them. Turn on a gentle light of awareness. Ah, hello restlessness. I see you are here again. Pull up a chair. But you do not get to drive. Oh, there is doubt. Hello, old friend. I hear you, but I am not buying what you are selling tonight. This gentle naming, this kind acknowledgement, is the art of wise gardening. You are not fighting, you are simply tending. Think about how much energy you are spending, right now, fighting reality. You are awake. That is the simple, neutral reality. But you are arguing with it. You are insisting it should not be. This is like standing in the middle of a beautiful, gentle rainstorm, screaming at the sky to stop. The rain is not the problem. The rain is just rain. The problem, the suffering, is your insistence that it should be sunny. The problem is your battle. This is the great, hidden suffering. It is not the wakefulness itself. It is the war with wakefulness. It is the second layer of suffering, the one we add all by ourselves. The first arrow is, I am awake. That is just a fact. It might be uncomfortable. The second arrow, the one we shoot at ourselves, is, this is terrible. I am failing. Tomorrow is ruined. I can't stand this. That second arrow is entirely optional. What if? And just stay with me here. What if you just accepted being awake? Not forever, just for this moment. What if, instead of fighting the rain, you just let it rain? You don't have to like it. Acceptance is not approval. It is just acknowledging what is. It is raining right now. I am awake right now. Think about how much energy you are spending right now, fighting reality. You are awake. That is the simple, neutral reality. But you are arguing with it. You are insisting it should not be. What if, instead of seeing this time as wasted, you saw it as found? When else do you have this much uninterrupted time, in total silence, to simply be? Time to practice being present. Time to observe the habits of your own mysterious, beautiful mind. Time to perhaps, in this quiet darkness, find a different kind of peace. I know what you are thinking. Easy for you to say. You are not the one who has to lead a 2-hour presentation tomorrow on no sleep. That is a fair point. Your responsibilities are real. This is the paradox of effort. The harder you try to force sleep, the more tense and on you become. The harder you try to find peace, the more you agitate the water of your mind. Sleep is not a fortress you can take by force. Peace is not a prize you can win through struggle. They are both states of surrender. They arrive when you stop fighting. So, let's talk about right view. Changqian, seeing things as they really are. Right now, your mind is adding a massive amount of extra drama to the simple, neutral fact of being awake. It is like putting hot sauce on food that is already spicy. It is unnecessary, and it is painful. Here is what is really happening. You are a human being, of a certain age, with real responsibilities and deep concerns, having trouble sleeping. That's it. You are not failing at life. You are not uniquely broken. You are just human. And here is the beautiful part. The part that prajna, or wisdom, reveals. This very moment. Yes, this frustrating, wide-awake, 3 a.m. moment contains everything you need for peace. Not the peace of unconsciousness, though that would be nice, but the deeper, more stable peace of accepting what is. Your mind will keep generating thoughts. That is what minds do. They are like your lungs. They breathe. Minds think. They are like that one relative who always has an opinion about everything. You cannot stop them from talking, but you do not have to believe everything they say. You can smile, nod, and let them talk, while you rest in the quiet awareness behind the noise. So, let's redefine rest. Maybe rest tonight isn't about unconsciousness. Maybe rest is about ceasing the battle, ceasing the argument with reality, letting your body be heavy and supported by the bed, letting your mind be, whatever it is, anxious, busy, quiet, buzzing, and letting your awareness just hold all of it with a gentle, spacious, non-judgmental kindness. That is a profound rest. It is the rest the Buddha was talking about, the peace that passes all understanding and is available to you right now, whether you sleep or not. As you lie there, perhaps adjusting your pillow for the 15th time. Not that anyone is counting, except, of course, your mind, which is keeping a detailed spreadsheet of everything. Let's talk about attachment again. No, not just your attachment to your morning coffee, though that is real, but your attachment to how you think things should be. Your mind is running a constant, silent audit of reality and finding it lacking. You should be asleep. Your children should call more often. Your retirement account should be larger. Your back shouldn't make that strange clicking sound when you stand up. Should. It is like your mind is a really terrible life coach who works the night shift, constantly pointing out the gap between reality and your expectations. But here is what those Buddhist monks, sitting quietly in their simple rooms, figured out while you were busy building a career and raising a family. Attachment to how things should be causes more suffering than the things themselves. Your sleeplessness is not the real problem tonight. The problem, the suffering, is your powerful, ironclad conviction that you absolutely must be asleep right now. It is like insisting that it should not rain during your outdoor vacation. You can insist all you want. You can get angry, frustrated, and despairing. But the rain doesn't care about your preferences. The rain is just raining. And right now, wakefulness is just happening. Speaking of preferences, let's address something specific to this stage of your life: the growing, undeniable awareness of impermanence. Anicca, you have lived long enough to see nothing stays the same. Your parents age. Your children grow up and move away, creating their own lives. Career peaks become warm, distant memories. That metabolism you had at 25, gone, along with your collection of music on tapes. The Buddha talked extensively about impermanence. But let's be honest, it hits differently when you feel it in your own bones. When you realize you have more years behind you than ahead. When you notice you are starting to sound just a little like your own parents. When you can actually remember where you were for multiple historical events. This awareness of impermanence is exactly why you are lying awake. Your mind is trying to solve the unsolvable puzzle of mortality and change. using the same approach you use for spreadsheets and tax returns. It is trying to plan its way out of impermanence. But here is what Buddhism teaches. Impermanence is not the enemy. Resisting impermanence is the enemy. You are suffering, not because things change, but because you are fighting against the beautiful, terrifying, natural fact that things change. Think about it. If nothing ever changed, you would still be in that terrible job from your 20 seconds. Your children would never have learned to walk. You would never have grown wiser, more compassionate, more skilled at gardening, or whatever hobby you have picked up to keep your mind sharp. Right now, your insomnia feels permanent. This is my life now, your mind declares, like a dramatic actor on a stage. I am just someone who doesn't sleep. But even this will change. Everything does. So let's explore right effort as it applies to someone who has already spent decades making effort. You've worked hard. You've raised families. You've built careers. And now you are lying in bed, making an effort to sleep, which is about as effective as making an effort to be spontaneous. Right effort, remember, is not about trying harder. At your age, you have surely figured out that not everything can be solved by applying more force. Right effort is about wisdom. It is knowing when to act and when to let go. Right now, the wisest effort might be to stop trying to force sleep and instead just rest. Your body is horizontal. Your muscles are mostly relaxing, except for that one spot in your shoulder that has been tense since 1998. That is already accomplishing something. Let's do a meditation, but not the kind where you need to sit in a lotus position. Your knees have opinions about that. This is bed meditation, perfect for people who remember when phones were attached to walls. Focus on your breath, not to change it, not to fix it, just to notice it, in and out. You have been breathing successfully for several decades now, all without thinking about it. You are actually quite good at it. Feel the sensation. Perhaps it's cool on the way in and slightly warm on the way out. When thoughts arise, I need to call about that insurance claim. Did I take my pill? Why did I say that stupid thing at dinner? Just notice them. You do not have to do anything with them. They are just thoughts. They are just leaves on the river. Acknowledge them. Thinking. And gently, kindly, bring your attention back to the simple, physical, real sensation of your breath. In and out. This breath is your anchor. It is your home base. It is always in the present moment. It is not worrying about tomorrow. It is not regretting yesterday. It is just breathing. Now, come home to the breath. Again and again. That is all you have to do. Just this. The Buddha taught that so much of our suffering comes from the stories we tell ourselves. And oh boy, at this stage in your life, you have stories. You are a library of them. Your mind is a brilliant, award-winning screenwriter, and its favorite genre? Disaster, suspense, tragedy. It is lying here, right now, pitching you new scripts. The story of who you should be by now, the story of what you should have accomplished, the story of how your body should feel, the story of how your family should behave, the story of how your retirement should look. These stories are keeping you awake. They are like those streaming services that automatically play the next episode. One anxious thought, did I save enough, leads to the next episode. What if I get sick? Which leads to the next. Who will take care of things? And suddenly, you are 6 seasons deep into anxiety. The complete collection, and you don't even remember clicking play. Here is a radical, subversive idea. What if you are exactly where you are supposed to be? What if all those mistakes, those plot twists you regret so much, were actually the curriculum of your life? What if all those wrong turns were just research? What if your current challenges, including this very sleeplessness, are not obstacles to your life, but are, in fact, your life? What if this is the lesson? I know. Philosophical acceptance feels about as achievable right now as your high school weight. But stay with me. The Buddha discovered that peace comes not from changing your circumstances, but from changing your relationship to your circumstances. You cannot control whether you sleep tonight. That is the simple, hard truth. But you can control whether you add a layer of suffering, a terrible screenplay, on top of your wakefulness. This practice of mindfulness is the art of seeing the screenplay without believing you are the character in it. You are the audience, watching the film of your thoughts. Let's be practical about something. Your generation, my generation, we were sold a very specific idea. We were sold the idea that we could control everything through hard work and proper planning. Save enough money, exercise enough, eat the right superfoods, take the right supplements, and you will age gracefully into a perfectly managed, golden retirement. And then, reality shows up. Reality shows up with market crashes, with adult children who move back home, with parents who need care, just as your own body starts to need more. Suddenly, that comforting illusion of control starts to look as outdated as your old collection of roadmaps. Buddhism, and Zen Stories in particular, offer something profoundly different. It offers the recognition that control was always an illusion. It's the ultimate cosmic joke. We were never in charge. Peace comes from accepting what you cannot control, while taking wise, gentle responsibility for what you can. You cannot control your racing thoughts. They are an echo of a long, responsible life, but you can control whether you believe them. You cannot control whether you fall asleep in the next 10 minutes, but you can control whether you panic about it. Here is a new story for your mind to write. A simple, one-page script. A human is lying in bed. They are safe. They are breathing. They are resting their body, even as their mind wanders. This is all that is required right now. The end. That is a radically peaceful story. It has no drama, no suspense, no disaster. Your mind might find it boring, but your body, your nervous system, will finally be able to unclench. It will finally be able to rest, whether you are conscious or not. You have been trying to solve your life. But what if your life isn't a problem to be solved? What if it is simply a river to be witnessed, a garden to be tended, a film to be watched? You get to choose the metaphor, but in everyone, the wisest action is to stop fighting, to be, and let the story unfold without trying to write the ending. Here is something the Buddha understood, which is particularly relevant to your demographic. Wisdom comes from experience, not from thinking about experience. You have accumulated decades of experience. You have lived through economic recessions. You have raised children, or chosen not to. You have changed careers, or stayed the course. You have lost loved ones. You have celebrated profound victories. You have survived and learned from deep failures. That is wisdom. Real wisdom. Not the kind that comes from a self-help book or a 10-minute app. It is the kind that is etched into your very being. It is the wisdom of your scars. You have earned this. The lines on your face, the aches in your joints, the memories that make you smile, and the ones that make you wince. This is your library. This is your truth. So, why are you lying here at midnight, thinking you still need to figure something out? You have already figured out how to survive everything life has thrown at you so far. You will figure this out too. In fact, the very reason your mind is so busy is because of this wisdom. You have seen enough of life to know that things can and do go wrong. Your mind is just trying to protect its hard-won territory. It's like a loyal old soldier who doesn't know the war is over, or at least on pause for the night. You can gently say to your mind, "Thank you. I see you are trying to protect me, but right now, in this bed, we are safe." You can stand down the watch, and this leads to another profound comfort. The concept of Sangha. In Buddhism, the Sangha is the community. It is the recognition that we are not on this path alone. Right now, in this very moment, you are not alone in this sleepless night. This is not a solo performance. As you lie here, breathing in the dark, millions of other people your age, with your concerns, are also awake. In a home not far from yours, someone is awake, worried about their aging mother. Across the country, someone is awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking about their finances. Across the world, someone is awake, worried about their adult child, who seems to be making a mistake. Someone is awake with a body that aches. Someone is awake with a heart that is grieving. You are all in this, together. You are part of a vast, silent, invisible community. The Sangha of the sleepless, the brotherhood and sisterhood of the 3 a.m. audit. There is something strangely, deeply comforting in that, isn't there? We are all in this together. This strange, beautiful, confusing, terrifying experience of being human, of aging, of caring, of lying awake, wondering if we have done enough, saved enough, loved enough. The Buddha taught that suffering is universal, but so is the path out of suffering, and so is the connection we find in that shared experience. This is the heart of so many Buddhist stories. The moment a person realizes their pain is not a personal failure, but a human bond. You are not separate. Your racing thoughts about mortgage payments, medication side effects, and whether your kids are making good choices, these are not signs that you are failing at life. These are signs that you are fully participating in it. So, as you lie here, feel that connection. You are not a single, isolated point of anxiety. You are a part of a great, breathing network of humanity, all just trying to find our way in the dark. Let that feeling hold you. Let it be a blanket. You are not alone. You are not failing. You are just one of us. And we are all just human. Let's talk about loving kindness, metta, and let's start with kindness for yourself. This is a radical idea, especially now when your mind is more inclined to criticize. Why can't you sleep? What's wrong with you? You should be better at this. Here is a new practice, a different kind of Buddhist meditation. Think of your mind right now as a small glass of water. It is agitated, it is cloudy, and every anxious thought, every drop of self-criticism is like a drop of dark ink. It instantly turns the entire glass dark. Your whole world becomes anxiety. Loving kindness, metta, is the practice of gently, intentionally expanding that small glass. It is the practice of turning it into a vast, calm, clear lake. Ho Nuk Teing. Now, when the same drop of ink falls, it vanishes. It is received by the vastness. It dissolves without a trace. So, let's practice, right now. You don't have to force a feeling. You just have to gently offer the words. The words are the seeds. Start with yourself. This is the hardest part, but it is the most important. Place your attention, as best you can, in the center of your chest, a place of warmth, and just silently, internally, offer these phrases. May I be peaceful. May I be safe from my own anxious thoughts. May I be healthy and strong. May I be kind to myself, right here, right now, in this sleeplessness. It might feel strange. It might feel like you don't mean it. That is okay. The gardener plants the seed. They do not force the flower to bloom. Just plant the seeds. May I be peaceful. May I be at ease. May I accept this moment just as it is. May I be free from this struggle. The Buddha didn't say that last part, but as we said, he would understand. Now, let that feeling, that small warmth, begin to expand. Let your glass of water begin to widen into a pool, into a pond, into a lake. Extend this kindness to others. Think of all the other people you just connected with, the Sangha of the sleepless, all the other people, your age, lying awake right now, and offer to them, may you be peaceful, may you be safe. May all the people lying awake right now, staring at their ceilings, be free from their suffering. May they find a moment of rest. May they stop Googling their symptoms at this hour. May they be at ease. Feel that. It's a practice. It is not about feeling some magical, warm, and fuzzy glow. It is about intentionally changing the channel in your mind. It is about switching from the life audit and disaster report station to the gentle kindness and shared humanity broadcast. Now, extend it even further. Think of the people you are worried about. Your aging parents, your adult children. They are probably worried too. It is worry, all the way down. But as you've learned, it is also love. It is also care. It is also connection. So, send that love out. May my parents be peaceful and safe. May my children be happy and wise. May they be free from their own struggles. The Buddha taught that we suffer because we feel separate, separate from others, separate from peace, separate from life, separate from the present moment. But lying here, in the dark, breathing the same air as billions of others, worried about the same timeless, human concerns, you are not separate at all. You are not an island. You are part of the vast, interconnected ocean of life. Your racing thoughts about your health, your finances, your family, these are not signs that you are failing at being human. They are the very definition of what it means to be human, to be a gardener who cares about the garden. The practice of metta is simply watering the garden with kindness instead of the salt of judgment. Your mind is the lake. An anxious thought arises. What about that meeting? Let it be a drop of ink. Watch it fall and dissolve in the vast, calm, compassionate water of your awareness. It cannot stain the lake. It is too vast. You are too vast. This is the peace that is always available. It is not the absence of anxiety. It is a spaciousness so large that anxiety can no longer take over the whole property. It is just a small cloud in a very, very big sky. Continue to rest in this lake. This is your refuge, peaceful, safe, kind. Here is what Buddhism offers. That is different from all those articles about sleep hygiene and stress management. It offers the profound recognition that sometimes being awake at night is just part of the human experience. It is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be met. Maybe tonight isn't about sleeping. Maybe tonight is about practicing being gentle with yourself in a world that is always demanding you be tough. Practicing observing your mind without getting swept away by its drama. Practicing recognizing that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, even if, especially if, that is wide awake, in the quiet darkness. The Buddha found enlightenment not by escaping life's difficulties, but by facing them with clear-eyed compassion and wisdom. You do not need to find enlightenment tonight, though, if you do, please share the secret. You just need to find a little peace with where you are. And where are you, really? You are in a bed. You are relatively healthy. You have a roof over your head. You have people and responsibilities that you care about so deeply. They are woven into the very fabric of your mind. When you look at it that way, it's not such a bad place to be, is it? Your problems are real. Your worries are valid. but so are your blessings. So is your strength. So is this present moment. Your mind, that beautiful, brilliant, and exhausting mind, will keep generating thoughts about your health, your finances, your family, your future. That is what minds do, especially minds that have spent decades successfully solving problems and managing complex responsibilities. Your mind is good at this. It's just working overtime. But you do not have to chase every thought. You do not have to solve every problem tonight. You can, instead, just lie here, breathing, being human, sharing this silent, invisible moment with countless others who are also awake, also worried, also wondering. Maybe that is enough. Maybe that is even a kind of profound meditation. Maybe that is exactly what the Buddha was talking about. Finding peace, not by escaping life, but by accepting it, sleepless nights, and all. So, breathe. Notice your thoughts, without believing all of them. Be gentle with yourself. You are the gardener, not the weed. You have made it this far, through everything life has thrown at you. You will make it through this night too. And if you do, eventually, fall asleep. Wonderful. And if you do not, you will have practiced something even more valuable. You will have practiced being at peace with what is, and that is a skill worth developing. Whether you are 35 or 85, whether it is 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., whether you are in a bed or sitting under a Bodhi tree, the Buddha would approve. And he would probably remind you that tomorrow's worries will still be there tomorrow. You do not need to rehearse them all night. Now, let your mind rest. Even if your body will not sleep, you have earned it. After all these years of thinking, planning, worrying, and caring, tonight, you can just be. This is the first noble truth of insomnia. This is happening. The second, you are attaching to the idea that it shouldn't be. The third, you can let go of that attachment. The fourth, here is how. By practicing exactly what you are doing right now. Being aware, being present, being human. Welcome to Buddhism for the sleep-deprived. Class is in session, and you are already passing. This is one of the most relaxing videos you can experience, a lesson from within. So, you have been lying here for what now feels like several geological epochs, and your mind has just decided to throw a party. Unfortunately, it is the kind of party where all the guests are your deepest anxieties, and they are currently arguing over who gets to control the music. And the music is a non-stop playlist of your worst-case scenarios. Welcome to the next chapter of your nightly mental marathon, the part where we explore why Buddhist monks spent centuries not just sitting, but observing the human mind. Instead of, inventing a more comfortable pillow, you just shifted position. Again, not that anyone is counting, except, of course, your brain, which is keeping detailed, minute-by-minute statistics on everything. Pillow flips. 19. Blanket readjustments. 27. Number of times you've calculated remaining hours until dawn. 40. 2. Number of times you've checked to make sure your alarm is actually set. 5. This, my restless friend, is what the Buddha called papanka. It is one of my favorite words. It means mental proliferation, or complication, or, my personal favorite translation, the tendency of the mind to take a simple thing and build an entire, dramatic, unnecessary universe around it. Your mind is a master of papanka. It is not just a party, it is an after-party. It is the part of the night where the original guests, your worries, have invited their friends, and their friends are all loud, obnoxious, and starting to break things. It works like this. A simple, neutral fact arises. I am awake. That is the first guest. But Papanka does not let that guest just be. Papanka is the host that runs up, gives the guest a microphone, and says, "Tell us more, and bring in your friend." The friend is, "I am awake, and tomorrow will be terrible." And that friend's friend is, "Tomorrow will be terrible, because I will fail that presentation." And that friend's friend is, "I will fail the presentation, and my boss will notice," which leads to, "I will lose my job," which leads to, "I will not be able to pay the mortgage," which leads to, "I will end up living in my car," and scene. In the space of 60 seconds, your mind has produced, written, and directed a full-length feature film that starts with, "I am awake," and ends with, "I am destitute," and you are binge-watching this series against your will. This is Papanka. It is the mind's uncontrollable habit of elaborating, of spinning stories. It is like having a small, informational memo, "I am awake," that your mind insists on turning into a 900-page legal thriller, complete with footnotes of all your past failures. Let's talk about what is really happening in that brilliant, overactive mind of yours. See, 2,500 years ago, while most people were worried about, will the crops grow, and is that saber-toothed tiger gone yet? A wealthy prince named Siddhartha was lying awake in his palace, wondering, why can't I just chill? He had everything: the palace, the servants, a father who literally tried to hide all suffering from him. Imagine having a helicopter parent who actually owns the helicopter. But there he was, probably lying on the ancient equivalent of a memory foam mattress, just like you, thinking, there has got to be more to life than this constant, static. So he did what any reasonable person would do. He left his cushy life to sit under a tree and figure out why the human mind cannot stop overthinking. And after several years of this, talk about a commitment to solving sleeplessness, he discovered something that would really annoy most modern productivity gurus. The problem isn't your thoughts. The problem is that you believe your thoughts. The problem is that you think. Your thoughts are you. Right now, for instance, that voice in your head that is methodically listing every single thing that is wrong with your life, that is not you. That is just mental radio static. That is Papanka, the radio DJ, playing its greatest hits. You are the one who is hearing it. Big difference. The Buddha called this insight anatta, or non-self, which sounds, I know, like something your yoga teacher might say while you are trying not to fall over in tree pose. But here is what it actually means. For you, at this ungodly hour, that running commentary in your head, the one currently doing a ruthless performance review of your entire life, it isn't the real you. It's no more you than a podcast you are listening to is your actual friend. You are just aware of it. And that is the beginning of freedom. Let's get practical about this. You are lying here, and your mind is helpfully providing commentary, like a sports announcer who really, really hates the home team. And there goes another minute of potential sleep. That's going to cost them tomorrow. Oh look, they're remembering that awkward conversation from 1997. A terrible play. What were they thinking? This is what Buddhists call the monkey mind. Although, as we've established, that is deeply unfair to monkeys. At least they sleep at night. At least they don't lie awake wondering if they saved enough bananas for retirement, or if their fur is starting to thin. Your particular monkey mind has evolved. It has been upgraded. This is not your grandfather's monkey mind. This is Monkey Mind 2. It has advanced anxiety features. It has a high-definition, 8 kelvins, surround sound catastrophe simulator. It has push notifications for all your regrets, and it is connected to the cloud of all your future worries. This is the mind that has a mortgage. This is the mind that worries about elderly parents. This is the mind that knows, in excruciating detail, exactly how many hours of sleep you should be getting, and it has the articles to prove it. Now, let's go back to Siddhartha. That prince, the most famous of all Zen stories, is his, and it's often told with such reverence that we miss the central point. He was just like you. He was lying there, in his palace, with his own monkey mind one. It was an earlier version, but it had the same bugs. His mind was saying, "Why am I not happy? I should be happy. I have everything. What is wrong with me?" He was attached to the idea of happiness, just as you are attached to the idea of sleep. So, he did his radical thing. He left. This is called the Great Renunciation. But here is the part we often miss. We think he renounced his palace, his wealth, his family. That is the physical part, the real renunciation. The one that matters to you, right now, was that he finally decided to stop fighting the war in his own head. He renounced the battle. He went out and tried everything. He tried extreme fasting. He renounced that. He tried extreme meditation, holding his breath until he passed out. He renounced that. 2. He tried being the perfect, most disciplined student. He renounced that. He was the ultimate overachiever of suffering. And finally, as we discussed, he just sat down under a tree by a river. And he made a new kind of renunciation. He renounced trying to find an answer. He renounced the idea that his mind needed to be fixed. He renounced the idea that he needed to become someone else, an enlightened person. He just Saturday, and he decided to watch the party, to watch the papanka, to watch the monkey mind. He did not try to kick the guests out. He did not try to reason with them. He just observed, and in that pure, non-judgmental observation, the guests got bored. The music faded. The anxious thoughts, having no one to argue with, no one to convince, just dissolved. He discovered that thoughts are like guests. They only have power if you engage with them, if you serve them drinks, if you argue with them, if you simply sit and watch them. They eventually leave. They have to. Anicca, impermanence. So, here you are, lying in bed. You are Siddhartha. Your bed is the Bodhi tree. Your monkey mind too is the great demon, Mara, whispering all your doubts. This is stupid. You are not a Buddha. You are just a tired person who needs to sleep. This will never work. You are failing at this too. And your practice, your great renunciation, is to not fight back, is to not argue, is to let that voice talk, and to just rest in the awareness behind the voice, to let the announcer call the terrible play, and to just feel the breath, to notice the sheets on your skin, to just be. This isn't a passive act. It is the most radical, courageous act of all. It is the renunciation of your own internal war. It is peace. The Buddha, in his deep observation of the mind, that great, untended garden we spoke of, identified what he called the 5 hindrances. These are the primary weeds, or pests. Or, let's use a new image, one for the sky above your garden. Imagine your true mind, your core awareness, is a beautiful, full, luminous moon. It is always there. It is always whole. It is always peaceful. The 5 hindrances are just clouds. They are temporary weather patterns that drift in front of the moon, obscuring its light. Your problem is not the moon. Your moon is fine. You are not broken. You are just experiencing a cloudy night, and you have forgotten that the moon is still there. Let's see. How many of these clouds are in your sky right now? First, there is the cloud of sensual desire. This is not just the fun kind. In this context, it is any wanting. It is the big, heavy, opaque cloud that is blocking everything. Its name is, I want to be asleep. I want my mind to be quiet. I want this night to be over. I want my back to stop aching. I want my children to make better choices. It is the cloud of craving, of wanting reality to be different than it is. And as it passes in front of the moon, your whole world feels dark, defined by what you lack. Second, there is the cloud of ill will or aversion. This is the dark, stormy, flashing cloud. It is full of lightning and sharp wind. This is the hating cloud. You are angry, frustrated, resentful. You are angry at being awake. You are frustrated with your racing thoughts. You are resentful that your partner might be sleeping peacefully beside you while you are here, getting a master's class in Buddhist psychology against your will. This cloud is, I don't want this. I hate this feeling. Get this away from me. It crackles with the energy of resistance. It is the battle itself. Third, there is the cloud of sloth and torpor. This is not a defined cloud. This is a dense, heavy, wet fog. It rolls in and just sits. It is that heavy, dull, sluggish, peanut butter feeling. It is not quite sleep, but it makes thinking feel like wading through mud. It is why you have been staring at the ceiling without actually seeing it. The fog is so thick, you have forgotten there is a moon. You feel heavy, dull, and stuck. Fourth, there is the cloud of restlessness and worry. Oh, hello there. This is your current specialty. This is not one big, slow-moving cloud. This is the wind. A high, fast wind, tearing hundreds of small, fast, tattered clouds, scudding across the moon. Your mind is like that sky, bouncing from one concern to another. Retirement funds, health issues, that weird sound the car is making. Did I lock the front door? Did I remember to move the laundry to the dryer? The wind of anxiety blows, and the clouds of thought race, and the moon, your peace, is just flicker, 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 constantly obscured. And fifth, there is the cloud of doubt. This is the most subtle cloud. This is the whispering, high-altitude, icy cloud. It does not just block the moon, it makes you question the moon's existence. Did I make the right life choices? Am I doing enough? Will I ever sleep properly again? Is this meditation stuff even real? Or am I just lying here, listening to my own thoughts, like some kind of consciousness podcast? Is any of this working? Congratulations. On any given night, but especially tonight, you are likely experiencing all five. A dark, stormy, foggy, windy, and skeptical night. It is a full-blown atmospheric event inside your mind. But here is the thing, the profound, life-changing thing the Buddha figured out. These clouds are not you. They are not in the moon. They are just weather. They are not personal failures. They are not signs that you are bad at being human. They are just what minds do. It is like being upset that the sky produces clouds, or that the ocean has waves. This is just the nature of consciousness when left unsupervised. So, what was the Buddha's solution? It was not to fight the clouds. You cannot stand in your garden and yell at a storm cloud to make it move. You can, but it does not work, and you will look foolish. You cannot force the fog to lift. You cannot command the wind to stop. Instead, he suggested something radical. Just notice them. Do not judge them. Do not try to fix them. Just name them. Lying here, you can practice this. There is the wanting cloud. I see it. It is very large. Oh, that feeling of frustration. That is aversion. Hello, aversion. This heavy, sluggish feeling. This is sloth and torpor. This racing from topic to topic. That is restlessness. This thought that this is all pointless. That is doubt. The moment you name it, something magical happens. You are no longer in the cloud. You are no longer lost in the fog. You have become the watcher of the cloud. You are the vast, stable, patient sky, observing the weather. And you remember, the moon is still here. Your peace, your fundamental, luminous awareness has not gone anywhere. It is just obscured and all weather. Anicca is impermanent. The wind will change. The clouds will pass. The moon will be seen again. Your only job is to be the sky and wait and breathe. This is what mindfulness truly is. It has now been packaged and sold as everything from a corporate wellness program to a feature on your phone. But originally, it just meant paying attention to what is actually happening, instead of what your mind says is happening. Right now, what is actually happening? You are lying in bed. You are breathing. You are physically safe. That's it. Everything else, the mortgage worries, the health concerns, the perfect replay of that awkward conversation from 1997. That is just your mind's late-night improv show, and you are, unfortunately, the only member of the audience. Speaking of which, let's talk again about papanka, that mental proliferation, that chain reaction. I can't sleep, leads to tomorrow will be terrible, leads to I'll mess up at work, leads to I'll lose my job, leads to I'll end up living under a bridge. This is the catastrophe train. Your mind is a very efficient, very punctual train conductor. The first thought, I'm still awake, is the train pulling into the station. All aboard. It whistles. And you, being a responsible person, you get on. You think, I should probably ride this train of thought. It seems important, so you get on, and the train leaves the station. Next stop, tomorrow's ruined, and you think, oh dear, this is a terrible destination, but I'm on the train. I must see where it goes. Next stop, presentation, failure. Next stop, financial ruin. Final stop, total life collapse, and you ride this train all night, all the way to its final, terrible destination of doom, and you arrive, exhausted, stressed, and miserable. And then, another train pulls into the station, the Regret Express, and you get on that one. The Buddha's insight was that you can break these chains at any point. You do not have to follow the thought train all the way to its final, terrible destination. This is the practice. You are lying here. You are resting on the platform. You hear the whistle. The train pulls in. I'm still awake. And you just notice. There is the catastrophe train. Track 3, right on schedule. And you just watch it. You do not have to get on. You can just let it pull out of the station without you. It will huff and puff. It will seem very urgent. This is very important. It will whistle. You must think about this. And you, from the safety of the platform, can just breathe and watch it go. This is liberation. It is not about stopping the trains. The trains will always run. This is a busy station. This is just not buying a ticket for every single one. So, let's practice. Here, on the platform, lying in your bed, a thought will arrive. My knee has been making that sound. Ah, the health anxiety local. You just see it. You can even name it. Thinking, worrying, and you gently return your attention to the platform, to the simple, solid, real sensation of your breath, in and out, to the feeling of the sheets, to the heaviness of your body on the mattress. Another train will pull in. Did I remember to move the laundry? The household tasks express. Notice it. Let it go. Back to the breath. This is mindfulness. It is the simple, profound, and repeated act of not getting on the train, of choosing the present moment, the platform, over the mind's imaginary, catastrophic destinations. You are not fighting the trains. You are not yelling at them. You are not trying to dynamite the tracks. You are just choosing not to board. Again and again and again. This is the practice. This is the path. And you are doing it right now. This is where the Buddha's teaching on anicca, impermanence, comes in handy again. It is a lesson that bears repeating because our minds are built to forget it. Everything changes. Everything is in flux, including, and especially, your current state of wide-eyed, hyper-alert, anxious worry. The thoughts you are having right now, the ones that feel so solid and permanent, so true, they are temporary. The feeling that you will never sleep again, that is temporary. That embarrassing thing you said at last year's holiday party, well, the memory is persistent, but the sting, even that is temporary. The Buddha pointed out that we suffer because we treat temporary things as if they are permanent. We think our current problems will last forever. We think our current feelings are our permanent personality. I am an insomniac. We think our current thoughts are eternal, capital T, truths, but they are not. They are weather. They are clouds passing in front of the moon. They are waves rising and falling in the ocean. They are constantly changing, occasionally dramatic, and completely beyond our control. But they are not. They are weather. They are clouds passing in front of the moon. They are waves rising and falling in the ocean. They are constantly changing, occasionally dramatic, and completely beyond our control. Speaking of lack of control, let's address, once more, what is really keeping you awake. It is the illusion, the deeply held, cherished belief that if you just think about something hard enough, you can control it. That if you worry about it enough, you can somehow build a fortress against disaster. The Buddha called this grasping, the desperate, white-knuckled attempt to control the uncontrollable. It is exhausting. Imagine you are at the beach and you are trying to hold a handful of dry sand. You want to keep every grain, so you squeeze your fist tighter and tighter. I must control this. And what happens? The tighter you squeeze, the faster the sand runs through your fingers. Your effort to control is the very thing that makes you lose what you are trying to hold. The Buddha called this grasping, the desperate, white-knuckled attempt to control the uncontrollable. It is exhausting. This is your relationship with sleep. Sleep is the sand. You are squeezing with all your might. I must sleep. I must control this. I must make it happen. And the sand of peace, of rest, just slips away. This is like believing that if you worry about the rain hard enough, you can change the weather. Your retirement account does not grow because you anxiety calculate it at 3 a.m. Your adult children do not make better choices because you lie awake, reviewing their life options on their behalf. What if you just held the sand, gently, in an open palm? Some would still be lost to the wind, but most of it would rest peacefully in the palm of your open, accepting hand. This is what the Buddha meant by letting go. It is not giving up. It is not becoming irresponsible. It is not becoming a doormat to life. It is the exact opposite. It is an act of profound wisdom. It is aligning yourself with reality. It is recognizing that your mental hamster wheel isn't actually powering anything except your own anxiety. It is the recognition that the only way to hold the sand is to stop squeezing. The only way to find peace is to stop fighting. The only way to find rest is to stop demanding it. This is the core of Buddhist meditation. It is not a practice of achieving a state, but a practice of allowing, of opening the hand. You are not trying to get peace. You are letting go of the war. And in that space, peace, which was there all along, can finally be felt. Speaking of lack of control, let's address, once more, what is really keeping you awake. It is the illusion, the deeply held, cherished belief that if you just think about something hard enough, you can control it. That if you worry about it enough, you can somehow build a fortress against disaster. Now, you might be thinking, easy for the Buddha to say. He didn't have my mortgage. He didn't have my elderly parents. He didn't have my kids who text, "We need to talk," at 11 p.m. Fair point. But he did have the same human brain, the same operating system, with all the same default settings for worry, regret, existential dread, and papanka, that mental proliferation. The Buddha discovered that the mind has certain patterns. They are like software bugs that have been running, unpatched, since the Stone Age. These patterns made perfect sense. When we needed to remember which caves had bears and which berries were poisonous, worry was a survival mechanism. Regret was a learning tool. But now, that same operating system just makes us lie awake, wondering if we chose the right health insurance plan. The software is outdated for the life we live. One of these core patterns is what Buddhists call dukkha. We've covered this, but it is the foundation. It is the first noble truth. It is often translated as suffering, but it really means that baseline, fundamental unsatisfactoriness of existence. It is that feeling that something is always slightly off. It is like wearing shoes that are just a half size too small, or having a popcorn kernel stuck in your teeth forever. Right now, your dukkha is manifesting as, "I should be asleep. I should have my life more figured out by now. I shouldn't still be making these kinds of mistakes at my age." Your mind is shouting all over you. The Buddha's first noble truth is simply acknowledging that this dissatisfaction exists. Not to be pessimistic, not to be a downer, but to stop being surprised by it, to stop feeling personally attacked by it. Life includes difficulty. Yes. Sleep includes sleeplessness. Yes. Parenting includes worry. Yes. Aging includes new, mysterious body sounds. Yes. This is not failure. This is the full human experience package. You just forgot to read the fine print. The second noble truth. It identifies the cause. The cause is craving and attachment. You are attached to the idea of perfect sleep, to perfect health, to perfect decisions. You crave certainty. In a world that is fundamentally uncertain, you want guarantees in a life that offers none, except that things will change, and your body will continue to make weird noises. But here is where it gets so interesting, the third noble truth. This suffering can end, not by achieving perfect sleep. That's not the path. Not by finally figuring everything out, but by changing your relationship to imperfection. It is like finally accepting that your hair has its own agenda and learning to work with it instead of against it. The end of suffering is the end of the war with reality. Fair point. But he did have the same human brain, the same operating system, with all the same default settings for worry, regret, existential dread, and papanka, that mental proliferation. But one relevant part is right understanding, seeing things as they actually are, not as your anxiety is painting them. Right. Understanding in this moment means you are awake. This is uncomfortable, but not dangerous. And the fourth noble truth is the path out. The famous eightfold path. Again, do not worry. We are not going to make you memorize all 8 right now. Your brain is busy enough. Thank you. Your brain's disaster predictions have a terrible accuracy rate. The Buddha talked again and again about the middle way, the path between extremes. Right now, you are bouncing between 2 extremes. The extreme of forcing sleep, squeezing the sand, and the extreme of panicking about not sleeping, wailing about the sand. The middle way is a third, radical option, resting in wakefulness, letting your body relax, even if your mind will not, trusting that rest has value, even without unconsciousness. This is revolutionary for those of us raised on the try harder philosophy of life. We have been taught that every problem can be solved with more effort, more thinking, more control. The Buddha suggests that some problems dissolve when we stop treating them as problems. They dissolve when we stop applying effort, when we stop trying to solve them, when we just let them be and let ourselves be. This is the middle way. It is not a compromise. It is a place of profound wisdom, balance, and peace. It is the riverbank. It is the open hand. It is the vast, quiet sky that holds all the clouds. It is available to you right now. Just rest in the middle, in the isness of this moment. Imagine approaching your thoughts like clouds passing in the sky. You do not have to chase them, fight them, or figure them out. Your job is not to be a cloud chaser or a cloud fighter. Your job is to be the sky, vast, open, spacious, and, for the most part, undisturbed. This is meditation, by the way, not sitting cross-legged, unless you want to, not chanting, unless that is your thing. It is simply observing your own mind. Without getting pulled into its drama, you are already doing it. You just did not know it counted. The Buddha emphasized that meditation isn't about achieving some special, blissful state or having mystical experiences. It is about seeing clearly what is already happening. And right now, what is happening is thoughts arising, body sensations, like that ache in your shoulder, and your breathing, which continues faithfully, whether you manage it or not. Let's explore what the Buddha called the 4 foundations of mindfulness. This sounds like a very complex academic philosophy degree, but it is not. It is just a simple 4-point GPS for navigating your current mental traffic jam. It is a way to be the sky, not the cloud. The first foundation Mindfulness of body. Right now, can you simply notice your physical sensations? Not to judge them, my back shouldn't hurt. Not to change them, I must find a more comfortable position. Just to notice, to know them. The weight of your body on the mattress, the feeling of the blanket, perhaps it is heavy or light, the temperature of your skin, that spot in your lower back that has been annoying you, the simple, physical fact of the rhythm of your breathing. Notice your body is actually pretty good at existing without your conscious supervision. Your heart beats, your lungs breathe, your cells do their cellular things. Maybe your mind could learn from your body's example. It does not need you to micromanage it. All night, just feel. The body is always in the present moment. The second foundation, mindfulness of feelings or feeling tones. In Buddhism, this doesn't mean emotions like, I'm sad because my kid never calls. It means the basic, raw flavor of experience. Every experience has one of three flavors: pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That's it. Right now, being awake when you want to sleep, that is probably unpleasant. The softness of your pillow against your cheek, pleasant. The sound of a car passing, far away, outside, probably neutral. The practice is just to notice. This thought brings an unpleasant feeling. The quiet of the house is pleasant. You just observe the flavors without needing to react to them. You don't have to push away the unpleasant or grasp at the pleasant. You just notice. Oh, that's an unpleasant flavor. This simple noticing creates space. It stops the chain reaction. The third foundation, mindfulness of mind or consciousness. This is observing your mental state, like a scientist, observing the weather patterns. Is your mind tight or spacious? Is it agitated or calm? Is it racing or sluggish? That's the sloth and torpor fog. You are not trying to change the weather. You are just noting. Currently experiencing mental thunderstorms with a high chance of existential dread. This simple act of naming the state separates you from the state. You are not an anxious person. You are an awareness experiencing the temporary weather pattern of anxiety. Big difference. The fourth foundation, mindfulness of mental objects, or the Dharma. This is the big one. These are the specific contents of your mind, the thoughts, the worries, the memories, the plans, the clouds themselves. But here is the key. Instead of getting lost in the content, what about that mortgage? Should I refinance? What are the rates? You observe them simply as phenomena, as events. There is a thought about the mortgage. There is a memory of that embarrassing thing from high school. There is a fantasy about winning the lottery and solving all problems forever. The Buddha discovered that when you observe thoughts this way, as just thoughts, they lose their power. They are like scary movies. They are terrifying when you are immersed in them, believing they are real, but they are much less so when you remember you are just sitting in a theater, watching a screen. Your bed is the theater, your mind is the screen, and the thoughts are just the movie. And frankly, this particular movie has a terrible script. You can just rest in the awareness of the theater. You don't have to believe the movie. Now, let's address something specific to your life stage: the burden of accumulated responsibilities. The Buddha talked about bhara, which means burden. At your age, you are probably carrying multiple burdens: aging parents, adult children who still need guidance, just in different, more complex ways, your own health concerns, financial planning, career pressures, maintaining relationships, trying to remember passwords for 20 different accounts. The Buddha's insight was not, drop all responsibilities and become a monk, though that probably sounds tempting, right around this time of night. His insight was about discerning which burdens are yours to carry and which are optional, extra suffering you have picked up along the way. That guilt about not calling your mom enough, that is an optional burden. The responsibility to care for her is an actual burden. The worry that your adult child might make a wrong choice, that is an optional burden. The love that wants them to be happy is an actual burden. See the difference? You can care without carrying the entire weight of the world on your shoulders while you are trying to sleep. The Buddha talked about right effort, which, as we have said, does not mean trying harder. You have been trying hard your whole life. Right effort means wisdom in applying energy. Sometimes the wisest effort is no effort. Like right now, the effort to force sleep is the very energy that is keeping you awake. The effort to stop thinking is creating more thoughts. The pink elephant, the effort to relax, is creating tension. What if you applied the deep Buddhist principle of non-doing? In Zen, this is called wu-wei. It is not laziness. It is not apathy. It is effortless action. It is the recognition that some things happen better without our interference, like falling asleep, like digesting food, like growing wisdom. You cannot force a flower to bloom. You can only provide the conditions. You cannot force sleep. You can only provide the conditions of non-battle. This connects to one of the deepest, most beautiful, and most liberating concepts in all of Zen Buddhism. It is called shunyata, emptiness. Don't worry. This is not the depressing, nihilistic, nothing matters kind of emptiness you feel when you look at a problem you cannot solve. This is a vast, spacious, liberating emptiness. Think of it this way: your insomnia, your anxiety, your worries, they feel so solid, so heavy, so real, so permanent. They feel like a giant, solid, black, unmovable rock sitting on your chest. I am an insomniac. I am an anxious person. It feels like a thing. Shunyata is the teaching that this rock is not solid. It is empty of being a solid, permanent thing. It is like a cloud. From a distance, a cloud looks solid. You think you could walk on it, but if you fly through it, it is just mist, vapor. It is a combination of temporary conditions, physical sensations, thoughts, emotions, circumstances, all of which are changing, moment by moment by moment. Your insomnia is not a solid thing. It is a temporary constellation of conditions. It is made of physical alertness, mental activity, papanka, emotional frustration, aversion, thoughts about tomorrow, memories of other sleepless nights, cultural conditioning about the importance of 8 hours. Remove any one of those elements, and the experience and changes. It is not a solid rock. It is a process. It is mist, and you are not a solid, anxious person. You are not an insomniac. That is a label. That is a story. You are a person experiencing the temporary weather pattern of wakefulness. Big difference. Shunyata is the ultimate non-doing. It is the ultimate letting go. Because what are you letting go of? You are letting go of the fight with a cloud. You are letting go of the struggle with mist. You are letting go of the belief that this temporary, empty, changing phenomenon is a solid, permanent, personal failure. Here is the final image. Your thoughts, your worries, your insomnia, they are the clouds. You are the sky. The clouds pass through the sky. They can be dark, stormy, and loud. They can be foggy. They can be fast and restless. But they never stain the sky. They never harm the sky. The sky is not afraid of the clouds. The sky does not fight the clouds. The sky does not try to get rid of the clouds. The sky just holds them. It provides a vast, spacious, accepting container for all weather, and it knows, anicca, that all weather passes. The sky remains vast, open, peaceful, clear. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. Rest as the sky. Let the clouds of thought just drift. Let's talk about what the Buddha called dependent origination. This sounds like the most complicated philosophical term, something you'd need a university degree to understand. But it is, in fact, devastatingly simple. It just means everything depends on everything else. Nothing exists by itself. Everything arises in dependence on causes and conditions. A flower exists because of the sun, the seed, the soil, the rain. It is not an isolated thing. It is a result. Your current inability to sleep. It is not you. It is not a personal failure. It is, just like the flower, a result. It arises in dependence on causes and conditions. Your wakefulness right now depends on that coffee you had after lunch, that stressful presentation tomorrow, your mother's health concerns, the phase of the moon, perhaps, what you ate for dinner, that article about sleep you read last week, which is now, ironically, keeping you awake. Do you see? This is not you. This is not a solid, permanent flaw in you. This is just a temporary constellation of conditions that has created wakefulness. Change any one condition, and the experience changes. This is incredibly hopeful. It means nothing is fixed. It means nothing is permanent. It means your identity is not insomniac. Your identity is the vast, open sky, and insomnia is just a weather pattern arising from very specific, temporary, impersonal causes and conditions. This is hopeful because it means you are not broken. You are just experiencing a complex set of conditions, and it is not personal. Your mind is not trying to torture you, it is just reacting, based on causes and conditions. It is reacting to a long life of habits, of responsibilities, of caring. It is not personal, it is just a process, like weather, like a river, like a flower growing. This is why so many Buddhist stories emphasize this interconnection. It is the ultimate release from self-blame. You can stop asking, "What is wrong with me?" and start gently asking, what conditions are present right now? This is the shift from judgment to curiosity, from war to wisdom. And this brings us back to the Sangha, the community, because if your suffering is not yours, if it is just a human pattern arising from human conditions, then it is not separate from anyone else's. You are not alone in this. This is not a private, personal, shameful failure. This is the human condition playing out in your nervous system, and right now, in this very quiet, dark moment, countless other people are awake, lying in their own beds, staring at their own ceilings, wrestling with the exact same thoughts. What about my finances? What about my health? What about my children? You are intimately connected to all of them. Your struggle is their struggle. Your breath is their breath. You are not an island. You have never been. You are a wave in the great ocean of humanity. And tonight, the ocean is a little restless. You are intimately connected to all of them. Your struggle is their struggle. Your breath is their breath. You are not an island. You have never been. You are a wave in the great ocean of humanity. And tonight, the ocean is a little restless. There is a strange, deep comfort in this. A strange companionship. You are not separate. You are not isolated. You are part of an unofficial, invisible community of the sleepless, of the warriors, of the caregivers, of the people who have lived long enough to know that life is not simple. You are not alone in this. You are in the best of company. Feel that connection. Let it hold you. Let the sharedness of this be a comfort. You are one of us, and we are all in this together, breathing in the dark, just being. Let's return to a practice that is like a gentle balm for all of this, a practice of loving kindness, metta, a different kind of Zen meditation. Let's return to that image. In your normal, daytime, busy mind, you are like a small glass of water, and every anxious thought, every drop of self-criticism is like a drop of dark ink. It instantly turns the whole glass dark. Your whole world becomes anxiety. Your whole world becomes failure. The practice of metta is the gentle, intentional, and radical act of expanding that glass, letting it become a pond, a lake, a vast, deep, still ocean of awareness. Ho Nuk Ting, now, here, in this vastness, when the same drop of ink, the same anxious thought, I'm still awake, when it falls, It touches the surface, and it dissolves. It vanishes. It is received by the vastness. It is held by the loving, spacious water. It cannot stain the ocean. A single thought cannot stain the vastness of your true nature. So, let's practice. Right here, right now. You do not have to force a feeling. That is just more effort. You just have to gently offer the words. The words are the seeds. The words are the invitation. You can place a hand on your heart, if that feels right. Feel the warmth. Feel the simple, physical presence of you, and just silently, in your mind, like dropping flower petals onto the surface of this vast lake. Offer these phrases. Start with yourself. This is the most important gardener in the garden. You. Offer this to this tired, frustrated, perfectly imperfect version of yourself. May I be peaceful. May I be at ease, even in this wakefulness. May I be safe from my own judgments, from my own harshness. May I be healthy and strong. May I be kind to myself, right here, right now. May I forgive myself for not being asleep. Just offer the words. Let them be a gentle rain. May I be peaceful. May I be at ease. It might feel strange. You might feel you don't mean it. That does not matter. The gardener plants the seed. They do not force the bloom, just plant the seeds. May I be free from this struggle. And now, let the edges of that lake dissolve. Let that feeling of peace, that wish for peace, begin to expand. Let it spread beyond your own body. Extend it to all the others who are with you in the vast, silent, invisible sangha of the sleepless. All the other souls lying in their beds right now, staring at their own ceilings, thinking their own thoughts, feeling just as you do. And to them, to us, you offer, may you be peaceful, may you be safe, may all who are awake right now find a moment of rest. May all who are worried feel their hearts unclench, even for a second. May all who feel alone feel this connection across the darkness. May you be at ease. And now, let the lake expand even further. Bring to your mind the people whose faces populate your worries, the ones you are carrying, your aging parents, your adult children, your friends, your family. Their faces appear because you love them. Your worry is just your love in a painful, tangled form. So, let's untangle it. Let's just offer the pure love. See them in your mind's eye and offer them at this kindness. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be safe. May you be free from your own struggles, your own worries. May you be at ease. This is the practice of dissolving the illusion that you are a separate, isolated me. This is the antidote to that feeling of being a small, stained glass of water lying here in the dark. You are not a failure. You are not an insomniac. You are the heart of humanity, feeling what it feels like to care, to be connected, to love so deeply. And to them, to us, you offer, may you be peaceful, may you be safe, may all who are awake right now find a moment of rest. May all who are worried feel their hearts unclench, even for a second. May all who feel alone feel this connection across the darkness. May you be at ease. So, here is what this ancient path offers. A truth that is different from all those articles about sleep hygiene and stress management. It offers the profound, gentle, and radical recognition that sometimes being awake at night is just part of the human experience. It is not a problem to be solved. It is not a failure of your body. It is an experience to be met, to be held. Maybe tonight is not about sleeping. That is not the goal. That is not the prize. Maybe tonight is about practicing. It is an advanced, private meditation retreat that you did not sign up for. It is a practice in being gentle with yourself in a world that is always demanding you be tough. It is a practice in observing your mind, that beautiful, brilliant, and exhausting mind, without getting swept away by its every drama. It is a practice in recognizing, in the quiet, in the dark, that you are exactly where you are supposed to be, even if, especially if, that is wide awake in the still, deep hours of the night. The Buddha found enlightenment, nirvana, not by escaping the difficulties of life, not by creating a perfect, problem-free bubble. He found it by facing them, by facing his own mind, his own Mara, his own doubts, with a clear-eyed, spacious compassion and wisdom. He found peace in the middle of the storm, not after the storm passed. You do not need to find enlightenment tonight. That is a very high bar for 3 a.m. And again, if you do, please share the secret. You just need to find a little peace, a truce with where you are. And where are you, really? When you strip away the stories, the papanka, the mental spinning, where are you? You are in a bed. You are safe. You are breathing. Your body is doing this perfectly, without your help. You have a roof over your head. You have people and responsibilities that you care about so deeply that they have woven themselves into the very fabric of your mind. Your worry is the shadow of your love. When you look at it that way, when you see the love instead of just the worry, it is not such a bad place to be, is it? Your problems are real. Your worries are valid. But so is your strength. So is your wisdom, the wisdom of your scars. So is your breath. So is this present moment. Your mind, that beautiful, loyal, and overworked soldier, will keep generating thoughts about your health, your finances, your family, your future. That is its job. That is what minds do, especially minds that have spent decades successfully solving problems and managing complex responsibilities. Your mind is good at this. It is just working overtime in the wrong department. But you, as the sky, as the ocean, as the witness, you do not have to chase every single thought. You do not have to board every single train. You do not have to solve every single problem tonight. You can, instead, just lie here. You can rest, resting in wakefulness, breathing, being human, sharing this silent, invisible Sangha with countless others who are also awake, also worried, also wondering, also just human. Maybe that is enough. Maybe that is the practice. Maybe that is a kind of profound meditation. Maybe that is exactly what the Buddha was pointing to all along. Finding peace, not by escaping life, but by accepting it. Sleepless nights and all. So, breathe. Notice your thoughts without believing all of them. Be gentle with yourself. You are the gardener. You are not the weed. You have made it this far. Through everything life has thrown at you. You will make it through this night, too. And if you do, eventually fall asleep. Wonderful. And if you do not, you will have practiced something even more valuable. You will have practiced being at peace with what is, and that is a skill, a superpower, worth developing. Whether you are 35 or 85, whether it is 2 a.m. or 2 p.m., whether you are in a bed or sitting under a Bodhi tree, the Buddha would approve, and he would probably remind you that tomorrow's worries will still be there tomorrow. You do not need to rehearse them all night. Now, let your mind rest, even if your body will not sleep. You have earned it. After all these years of thinking, planning, worrying, and caring, tonight you can just be. This is the first noble truth of insomnia. This is happening. The second, you are attaching to the idea that it shouldn't be. The third, you can let go of that attachment. The fourth, here is how. By practicing exactly what you are doing right now, being aware. Maybe that is enough. Maybe that is the practice. Maybe that is a kind of profound meditation. Maybe that is exactly what the Buddha was pointing to all along. Finding peace, not by escaping life, but by accepting it. Sleepless nights and all. Let's get practical about this again, because the mind needs to hear these truths again and again. You are lying here, and your mind is providing that commentary, that sports announcer who is deeply, personally disappointed in the home team. And there goes another minute of potential sleep that is just a terrible play. Oh, look, they are remembering that awkward conversation from 2003. Why? Why would they bring that up now? A terrible, terrible fumble. This, as we have said, is the monkey mind. And, as we have established, this is deeply unfair to monkeys. Monkeys, at least, sleep. They do not lie awake, contemplating their banana 401k. They do not lie awake, wondering if their children are making good, banana-related life choices. Your particular monkey mind has evolved. It has had decades of upgrades. This is not your grandfather's simple, analog monkey mind. This is monkey mind 2, or, by this hour, perhaps 3. It has advanced anxiety features. It has a high-definition, 8 kelvins, surround sound, catastrophe simulator. It has push notifications for all your regrets, and it is fully synced to the cloud of all your future worries. This is the mind that has a mortgage. This is the mind that worries about elderly parents and adult children. This is the mind that knows in excruciating, scientific detail exactly how many hours of sleep you should be getting, and it has the articles to prove it. Now, let's go back to Siddhartha, the prince. This is the most fundamental of all Zen stories, and it is so often told with such reverence that we miss the central human point. He was just like you. He was lying there in his palace on his silk sheets with his own monkey mind 1. It was an earlier version, but it had the exact same software bugs. His mind was whispering, "Why am I not happy? I should be happy. I have everything. What is wrong with me?" He was attached to the idea of happiness, just as you, in this moment, are attached to the idea of sleep. He was lying there in his palace on his silk sheets with his own monkey mind 1. It was an earlier version, but it had the exact same software bugs. His mind was whispering, "Why am I not happy? I should be happy. I have everything. What is wrong with me?" He was attached to the idea of happiness, just as you, in this moment, are attached to the idea of sleep. He went out and he tried everything. He was the ultimate overachiever of spirituality. He tried extreme fasting, starving himself. He renounced that. He tried extreme meditation, holding his breath until he passed out. He renounced that too. He tried being the perfect, most disciplined student of every great teacher. He renounced that. And finally, as we have said, he just Saturday, down under a tree by a river, and he made a final renunciation. He renounced trying to find an answer. He renounced the idea that his mind needed to be fixed. He renounced the idea that he needed to become someone else, an enlightened person. He just Saturday, and he decided to watch the party, to watch the papanka, to watch the monkey mind, to watch the guests. He did not try to kick the guests out. He did not try to argue with them. He just observed, and in that pure, spacious, non-judgmental observation, the guests got bored. The music faded. The anxious thoughts, having no one to argue with, no one to convince, they just dissolved. He discovered that thoughts are like guests. They only have power if you engage with them, if you serve them drinks, if you argue, if you believe their stories, if you simply sit and watch them. They eventually leave. They have to. Anicca, impermanence. This is the secret, hidden in all Buddhist stories. So, here you are. You are Siddhartha. Your bed is your Bodhi tree. Your monkey mind too is the great demon, Mara, whispering all your doubts. This is stupid. This will never work. You are not a Buddha. You are just a tired person who needs to sleep. You are failing at this too, and your practice, your great renunciation, is to not fight back, is to not argue, is to let that voice talk, to let the announcer call the terrible play, and to just rest in the awareness behind the voice, to feel the breath, to notice the sheets on your skin, to just be. This is not a passive act. It is the most radical, courageous act of all. It is the renunciation of your own internal war. It is peace. So, here you are, lying in bed, an involuntary student of Buddhist philosophy. The cosmic joke, the one that makes the masters smile, is this: the peace you were fighting so hard to find was the peace that was here all along, waiting beneath the noise. The wakefulness you were treating as an enemy was, in fact, your most dedicated teacher. This is the heart of all Zen stories. This is the secret of all Buddhist stories. The awakening happens in the moment you stop fighting with what is. The night is still dark, but in your heart, a different kind of light has dawned. Now, you can truly rest in this peace, in this acceptance. Sweet dreams, whether sleeping or waking. The peace is already yours.